All right, let's dive right in. We're going to tackle one of the toughest challenges in any high-stakes field, mastering your own mind when you're under pressure. And today, we're using the world of trading as our case study to really unpack a powerful framework for peak performance.
So, first things first, we need to frame the core problem. This is the one thing that trips up even the smartest, most capable people when the pressure is really on, and there's money on the line.
So what do you think it is? I mean, really? A surprise news event? A sudden market crash? Well, here's the thing. The biggest risk for most people isn't external at all.
And yeah, that is the counterintuitive truth. The real game isn't about predicting the market, it's about managing your own internal reactions to it. Your psychology is the single greatest variable in your success, period.
And man, these are the classic mistakes, right? We've all been there. They don't come from a bad spreadsheet or a faulty strategy. Nope. They are born from emotion. That gut-wrenching fear of missing out on a huge move, or the anger after a loss that makes you want to jump right back in and revenge trade, or that little voice of hope that convinces you to move your stop-loss just one more time. These are totally universal human responses that are absolutely disastrous in a world of probabilities.
Okay, so if the problem is internal, well, the solution has to be internal too. It just makes sense. This is where we pivot. We stop seeing ourselves as victims of our emotions and start becoming our own performance coach.
This right here highlights the fundamental shift in mindset. You see, amateurs get totally hung up on the outcome, the profit and loss. Their ego is all tied up in being right on any given trade. But the pros, they are obsessed with the process. Did they follow their rules? Did they execute their plan flawlessly? They see emotions not as these enemies you have to crush, but more like valuable signals. They're just data points telling them when they might be drifting away from their process.
And that is the essence of self-coaching. But listen, the most important part here, this isn't some magic talent you're born with, not at all. It is a deliberate, trainable skill. It's all about creating a system inside your own head to constantly observe what you're doing, figure out why you're doing it, and then make adjustments on the fly.
Okay, so how do we actually build this skill? Let's break down the practical toolkit you can start using.
Think of this as the engine of your self-coaching system. It's a 4-step loop. So first, you just observe. You just notice, whoa, okay, I'm feeling really anxious and I really want to jump into this trade. No judgment, just notice it. Then you diagnose. Okay, what's going on here? This is FOMO because the price is moving fast. Next, you intervene with a rule you already made. My rule says I do not chase breakouts. And finally, you reinforce it. Good job, you stuck to the plan. You just run this loop over and over and over until it becomes second nature.
And you know what's cool? This coaching loop, it applies to everything. It's not just one thing, it's this whole comprehensive system for improving your mindset, for managing your emotional and physical state, for upgrading the quality of your decisions, and of course, for enforcing that disciplined adherence to your process.
I absolutely love this quote because it just perfectly sums up the modern way of thinking about performance psychology. You know, the old way was all about be a robot, suppress your feelings. But the new way, it's about being a detective. It's about recognizing a feeling like fear, labeling it, okay, that's fear of loss, and then using that information to double-check that your trade size is correct and follows your rules. You channel the energy, you don't fight it.
All right, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But the real power, the magic, it comes from turning these ideas into concrete daily habits. So let's look at 2 incredibly practical tools. So tool number 1 is something called if-then planning. It's super simple, but it is a profoundly powerful way to basically short-circuit emotional hijacking before it even starts. You identify a specific trigger that usually throws you off your game, and you decide, way in advance, exactly how you're going to respond. Here is a perfect example. A huge price gap at the market open can cause total panic or impulse trades. By creating this rule beforehand, when you're calm and rational, you've already made the right decision. So when that moment of stress hits, you don't have to think, you just execute the plan. It's like your logical brain protecting you from your emotional brain. Okay, tool number 2 is a super simple end-of-day ritual, the 3 R's. First, you record your data, and not just profit and loss, but how well you actually followed your rules. Then you reflect on why things happened the way they did. And this is the crucial part, you refine. You define one tiny specific goal for tomorrow's session. Maybe it's just, I will not move my first stop-loss, period. What this does is it creates this incredible compounding effect of daily incremental improvement. So when you put all this together, what does it add up to? I
I mean, what's the ultimate takeaway from adopting this self-coaching mindset?
Well, as you can probably tell, this approach is a game changer for so many people. If you're a trader who's stuck with those same recurring bad habits, this gives you the structure to finally break those cycles. If you're still developing, this is a powerful blueprint for building professional routines from day one. And you know what? Even for experienced pros who feel like they've hit a wall, this provides the psychological leverage they need to unlock that next level of performance.
You know, at the end of the day, it really all comes down to this. Everybody is out there looking for some secret indicator, some magic strategy. But the real, durable edge in any performance field, it's not a secret. It's the, frankly, boring daily work of building a system that lets you execute with discipline day in and day out. Consistency. That is the edge.
And honestly, that's why this is so much bigger than just trading. Whether you're an athlete, an entrepreneur, a surgeon, or a creative professional, the ability to observe your own performance, manage your internal state, and systematically improve your process, that is the ultimate meta skill. It's the one skill that makes all your other skills better.
So I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. And look, forget trying to fix everything all at once. What is the one small, recurring mistake, that one little behavioral leak that you could start applying this self-coaching loop to starting tomorrow? Because that, right there, that's where the journey really begins.